One, Megan, good afternoon, or I guess, yeah, good afternoon to you in California. First off, how you doing? And thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Sam. I'm excited to be here and chat with you today.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I was looking through your bio, and I think for the most part, I mean, you are the founder and CEO of RevSpark and what we're going to get into, but yeah, I think you only had one job after college before this, and then you got into this and founded that. You went to Vanderbilt, which I want to kind of figure out where you're from and how you ended up going to Vanderbilt. So, where did you grow up, and kind of what were your interests like when you were a kid?
Yeah, so I grew up in Southern California, not in Nashville, Tennessee, although I love Nashville, Tennessee. Grew up in Southern California and just a total beach girl. Loved to be outside, loved to go to the beach, played soccer and volleyball all
Nice.
through grade school, middle school, and high school. And my dad was in the apparel business. So he owned
Very
some
cool.
action sports brands. So I always loved, going to the beach, going to surf shows, going to trade shows with him, which, kind of led me down the path of where I am today.
Hmm.
But growing up, yeah, just a lot of outdoor time, a lot of beach time. And then it came time to go to college,
Yeah.
and I thought,
Vanderbilt's a great school.
it's a great school. I looked at so many schools, and I was very fortunate enough to kind of make the rounds. And I ended up at Vanderbilt. I wanted a school. My dad laughs today. I was like, I want a school where you go and it's like Disneyland. Like you just feel like you're at a college. And we went to go visit Nashville. I think or Vanderbilt was one of the last schools I went to. And I was just standing on the campus. It's so beautiful. Have you been there, Sam?
No, I have not. I've been to Nashville. I did go to an SEC school, so I was very familiar with Vanderbilt and like
Yeah.
the campus. And I have some friends, one of my best friends' wives went to Vanderbilt, so I'm very familiar with it, but I haven't been.
Okay, well, I mean, it is just like it's an art national arboretum. So it's just like gorgeous when you're on the campus. And all of these sudden, these little lightning bugs, fireflies, I don't know what they're
Oh,
called really,
nice.
but
Yeah,
they
lightning
come
bugs.
like flying by me and I'm like, this is where I'm going.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, that's the story of how I ended up in Nashville and I loved it.
The
Absolutely
surfer
loved it.
girl
Almost
from
didn't come home.
the surfer girl from California makes her way to Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep,
Um,
pretty much.
growing up, did you like have aspirations to be a business owner? Like, what did you think you were going to grow up and do and be?
Well, I was really lucky where my dad was an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
He kind of put that spirit in us. He let I have one sister, so we just tagged along all through. I think starting when I was like 6 or 7, I was probably that brat hanging around the office, just trying to do whatever I could. In high school, I would work in the warehouse. I would
Mhm.
go do where all the embroidery was taking place. I just loved it. I don't know. I think I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I don't really know what I ever wanted to do
Mhm.
necessarily, but it was definitely going to be something creative and different. And I mean, I got back from college and I worked my first job, which I loved, but I wanted some extra money. So I paraded around my old elementary school with like a huge present box on my head, like up and down the lines, trying to be like the Christmas elf making extra money for people. So I think just always kind of out of the box thinking
Mhm.
and looking back, I was like, well, yeah, maybe this was my path the
Yeah,
whole time.
totally. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I think my granddad was, and my sister is, and I think it kind of just once you see it and you're in that world, that's kind of just the path it takes you. With your first job out of Vanderbilt, I mean, you're in the sales, operations, consulting space and world, which I think is kind of closely related with what you end up creating. But from that first opportunity, being a consultant, working in sales, working in operations, was that where the spark kind of came for you to start this? And I think it started within an apparel industry.
Yeah, so my first job out of school, actually, I was a litigation consultant.
Oh, I saw that on there too, but I think they went
So
hand in hand. I was like,
yeah, so I did jury consulting, which was really cool.
all
So
right.
we would profile a jury, do a fake kind of mock trial, and then report back to the legal team on themes that were resonating with jurors, themes they should be focusing on, or we just say settle. This is not this is not going anywhere. You have no case. So I actually did that after school. I really, really loved that. I think it gave me a really great experience of being able to talk to people, read the room, stand in front of people, give mock trials. It was a really small company, so just had to kind of, you really had to be on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the side, I did a lot of sales consulting, sales
Okay.
operations, kind of did both. So they weren't hand in hand, but I was doing them both at the same time.
Same at the same time. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So another entrepreneur thing, like you're
Right. You're always doing
juggling
like
a
20
bunch of
things.
different stuff. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
With the creation of RepSpark, it comes from an apparel brand. Were you working with an apparel brand, or how did that start?
Yeah, so goes back to my dad and kind of the background. So his business was always to take apparel, footwear, accessories brands that got to a certain point, and he would invest in them and then kind of provide all the back end operations. So the
Mhm.
warehousing, the sales reps, the customer support service team, everything that those like super creative brand guys, girls don't really know how to do, or isn't their sweet
Exactly.
spot. Let's say that. Yeah.
Yep.
And so he would work with them to take them to the next level. And that's kind of where I would come in and help with the sales operations and look at numbers and trending and all of that. So he had this idea a lot in the industry. A lot of the sales reps will rep for multiple different brands. So as
Mhm.
long as they're a non-compete, they'll rep for a backpack brand and a sunglass brand and an apparel brand. And none of them ever had any information. So they would send an order back, they would write it down on a piece of paper. By the time the customer service team got the order, they would look at it, half the product didn't exist. They didn't make that
Mhm.
color anymore because apparel brands are also very creative. Nothing's blue. It's like sky blue, ocean blue, all
Yep.
these other colors. So my dad said there has to be a better way to do this. So he kind of was the genesis of the idea, built somewhat of a structure of what RepSpark was a long, long time ago, and got it out to his sales reps. And the sales rep said, "This is so awesome. Can I have it for the 4 other brands, 5 other brands
Mhm.
that I rep for?" And my dad had no interest in software, no interest in that. He's a manufacturing guy. I mean, very brilliant in what he does, but he was like, "I don't want to take on a software
Mhm.
company. Like, that's not what I want to do. Do you want to run with it?" And me being that spirit, I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what your problems you're solving. I
Yep.
know exactly, where this fits into the picture. I know how this industry works. Why not start a software
For
company?"
sure.
And so
At,
that's kind of how it all started.
at y'all's earliest years, like I think 2007, like what did it look like at that point? Like what was the first thing you like launched for them?
Well, so we took the kind of the base platform
Mhm.
and we built one-off software platforms. I mean, you have to think back in the day, there was no
Yeah.
like AWS, there's no cloud, there was like individual people who owned co-locations, which
Mhm.
I know is crazy to even think about now. But so we literally built individual platforms for about 5 or 6 customers.
Dang.
It was myself and our old CTO. And then all of a sudden, it took off. So we grew to about 30 or 40 brands on word of mouth alone. We didn't really even have a salesperson. We had zero marketing. And it was just word of mouth. That rep would rep for the next one. And then we realized like, oh, we have a software company here. We got to do it
Yep.
right. So we pulled back at that point in time, really focused on scalability, security, moving everybody to the same platform. I mean, we had like individual, like you didn't log into one, like there were 30 different instances of RepSpark. So putting that all together, making sure the rules went well. Yeah, so that was a fun time. I remember being up, I have 3 boys. So I remember being up with my twins at like 2 in the morning trying to feed them with like yellow screens all over my computer. And I'm like, what's going on? It's all breaking. So yeah.
To simplify it for people listening, so you communicate with the wholesaler to retailers in a way,
Yep.
and all that stuff you're tracking is like inventory and what's selling and what's not selling and the quantity of orders. Like what is all that you're tracking for the wholesalers?
Yeah, so we provide a platform or a community for brands and buyers to connect. So our customers, the brand, so the apparel company, the footwear
Hmm.
company, the manufacturer, and we connect into their data source. So sometimes that's called an ERP system, sometimes that's Shopify, wherever they're holding their
Got it.
SKUs, product, colors, all of that. And we make that visible and beautiful for their sales team. So their sales team can go out and have a digital catalog and all those types of things. Or the retailer, so the surf shop, the green
Hmm.
grass shop can also log in. They can see what's available, what's coming. They can see inventory, they can see pricing, they can place their own orders, they can manage their orders, and then there's a whole ton of reporting and really cool like
Hmm.
bells and whistles. But in its simplest form, that's what it is.
And so for the most part, though, you're on the back end. Like there's not too many like myself, like buyer, customer facing.
That's exactly right. So it's really B2B. So it's wholesaler to the
Hmm.
store where now you would go buy the product.
Yeah.
We do some B2B2C, and that's more where you would have to be a member of something typically. So like a golf club or a gym or a fishing group where you have a membership.
Hmm.
If you've ever played in a golf tournament, which I'm sure a lot of people have,
Plenty. Yeah.
and you go and you get to pick your product before you show up, and there's like a nice box sitting on
Hmm.
the cart with your Johnny O clothes in or
Oh
Grace,
yeah.
that's our software. So
Very
that's
cool.
where maybe like an end consumer may have seen RepSpark. Team events, if you're ordering for a team, an end consumer may have used it in like a B2B2C type capacity, but it's definitely more brand to wholesaler.
For the growth of the company, you said y'all took off pretty quickly in 2007, and at the time, like you're making these individual platforms for each individual company you're working with, and I'm sure that changed. I don't know, but over the next couple of years. But talk to me about y'all's growth since then, and how has it been trying to manage that growth and navigate success, but also continue to provide a great service to the people you're working with. Like, how is that growth, and how do y'all continue to navigate it?
Yeah, I would say we hit like a really good growth trajectory about 4 years ago. Up until then, I didn't realize, I don't think that you can't really do it alone. You need like an awesome team around you. And, people kept saying, you're the bottleneck. And you're like, no, I'm not. I can do this better. And you can't. So 4 years ago, got like an awesome leadership team. And that's kind of been building. I think that's where we really started to take off, really put the structure in place to grow and really be able to support customers of all different sizes. So
Hmm.
we work with a lot of customers that are going directly from direct to consumer. So, that apparel brand that was made in someone's garage and they're not in any store that you could ever buy, up to, billion-dollar companies, and just being able to support them. But yeah, it was all about the team. It was
With
all about the team.
and that is so true. And I think in a lot of like some people just need to realize like if they just start delegating a little bit and like bringing on team members, can really do a lot for growth, but also you individually. Now you can probably focus on what you're really good at too. With the brands and companies you work for, what are some of the main struggles? Like when they come to you guys, where do you see them struggling, and like where can your input kind of help out right away?
We see a lot of inefficiencies. So just orders that are dead on arrival from
Hmm.
reps or retailers that can't even be fulfilled. We see a lot of just errors, like pricing being wrong, colors being wrong. And then we have a whole community area where brand or where buyers can log in and find new brands.
Hmm.
So as brands are entering like a new vertical, like if they're moving from athleisure into golf, or they want to move into resort wear, something like that, we provide a really great platform to notify all those retailers like, hey, there's a new brand on board and this is what they're doing.
Nice.
So it's a lot of kind of marketing, getting the word out, but just the inefficiencies, the calls to customer service. I mean, as more and more people are entering the workforce and used to computer, I mean, you have to think 20 years ago, people didn't order that way. Like they wanted the rep to come in. Sales reps are still super, super important, but for those one at once orders where, the retailer is doing their inventory count at the end of the day and they
Yeah.
need to replace some things, or they want some assisted buying, like what are the trends? all that sort of thing. So it's really eliminating the inefficiencies, the errors. And then there's a really big piece on customer service.
I was about to
So
say, how do you connect with customer service?
yeah, so like imagine you're at, I don't know, a pro shop, a green grass shop,
Hmm.
and you want to track an order. You have your member sitting in front of you and they're asking where their special order is. Now you have to either call customer service or you have to call your rep. Now you just log on to RepSpark and you can see, oh, cool, it shipped yesterday. Or you can even see like, oh, Susie at the front already signed for it. Your stuff's already here. So just that we tend to make or elevate customer service teams so
Hmm.
they're doing I like to think cooler, more, beneficial things and just like, I don't know, let me see your order. Let me see if it's
Yeah.
tracking. Oh, it shipped. They can do cooler things that are probably, much, much better for their hearts.
Yeah, much more fit to what they want to be doing and probably makes
Yeah.
them a lot happier too. Do y'all have uh do y'all have like a developers in house? How are you connecting with all the different changes in the development world and like just making sure y'all are staying up to speed?
Yeah, so there's a couple different departments within RepSpark that do that. So we do have our engineering department, and we have a set of like the most incredible, talented team here in the US. I call them like our RepSpark team. And then we also have two different vendor partners in India.
Hmm.
They're part of RepSpark. They're part of our team too. One of them's been there for, I don't know, 8 years of it. And then we have an engineering manager who's managing all of that. We also have a product team, so they're taking the big vision and distilling it down really close to our customers. What do our customers want? What do they need? How can
Hmm.
we help them next? We're launching RepSpark Payments right now, and
Oh, very cool.
the brand saying, all of our buyers are already in RepSpark. They can see an invoice, they can track it, but they can't
Hmm.
pay for it. So just being really close to the customers. And then we have like a technical support team that has some engineers on it too, where, hey, why is our inventory off? Our orders aren't syncing. So our engineers kind of touch three different departments.
With the new payment systems, that mean are you like the credit card processor now? Are you partnering with credit card processors?
Yeah, so we would, well, we're looking at two different ways to do it.
All
We're
right.
partnered with Stripe right now.
Okay.
So somebody could connect their account to Stripe and offer invoice payments through RepSpark. And then we're looking at possibly be having a more integrated version of that where we can really help our brands get the best rate. Since we had almost $1 billion go through our platform last year, we'll probably double that this year.
Dang.
So
You can
we're
save
able to
so much
put,
money on a good rate.
yeah, so we're able to like put that all in a bucket, if you could imagine, with a more integrated way instead of each brand going to Stripe and trying to negotiate a rate or whoever they use. We
Yep.
chose Stripe, but really being able to offer a really nice rate as a bundled effect for all those brands.
Very
So
cool.
that's kind of the next phase of this.
With the information and the data that gets to the brands and then also to the retailers, are you able to like provide, are they able to see like maybe what wording works better or what like names of the clothing brands or what colors might work better? Are they able to like kind of see that and then like be able to change their marketing?
Yeah, so we do have a full digital catalog, which is great because a lot of the brands will do exactly that. They'll do an A/B test on a cover, or
Hmm.
they'll do different colorways as the featured product. So they're really able to kind of test their marketing that way. And then because the orders are coming in, so in apparel and accessories, it's very seasonal. And a lot of the buyers will actually purchase like 3 to 4 months in advance. So
Hmm.
all the trade shows that are coming up this summer, they're actually purchasing like spring of next year.
Yeah.
So they've already purchased. So being able for the brands to get those orders in advance, they can really test their product pretty quickly and be like, wow, we thought mint green was going to trend this, this no one's buying it. Okay, let's cancel that order. So
Yeah.
just being able to get those orders so far in advance. And then we also have, I mean, we have so much data. We can see what's
I was
trending.
about
We
to
can
say,
see
y'all must
what
get tons of
geographical
data.
locations are, when they're purchasing, what they're purchasing. Especially with AI these days, there's so much we can do with that data we have. And that's going to be a real focus for us for kind of end of this year and into 2025 is just how do we make smarter decisions with that data we have
Mhm.
and let our brands make those decisions smarter?
I'm gonna have to ask my sister. She owns like a high-end women's boutique in our
Okay.
hometown, and I mean, she got tons and tons of brands in there, and like huge brands. And I'm wondering if she uses, a system like yours with the industries you are in. Like, what are some of your major industries and like people you work with?
Well, I think we're really lucky because we focus and we tend to do really well with brands that were started kind of with a passion.
Hmm.
So a lot of golf brands start from golfers or people that love golf. So we're really in like golf, action sports, that fitness, wellness, moving into fishing. Resort wear, like we do really well with those types of brands. And then
Hmm.
it's like the buyers are the same. We do really well with I like retail locations, buyers, owner operators, whatever you want to call them. But we do really well when the store is like part of a location where someone has a passion. You know what I mean? Where, it's a golf pro shop's there because of the golfers,
Hmm.
because of the golf element. A boutique gym, like the retail shop's there as part of the boutique gym.
Hmm.
And we really love that kind of contingency. Number one, it's a real community feel. There's a membership involved, sometimes not, but even with a resort, it's there because it's a resort. It's not just there because it's a retailer.
Yep.
And then we get really involved with the education. So let's teach these retailers to be better retailers because that's not maybe your sister, that's what she always wanted to do, is own this store, and she's really into the merchandising. I'm sure she's an amazing buyer. But a lot of these other type of retail locations, again, pickleball, tennis,
Hmm.
running stores, like the owners are there because they love doing that, not
Yep.
because they had this dream to like have a retail shop.
Yeah,
So
totally.
we do really well. We get really deep with a lot of our buyers. We partner with a lot of associations to help those buyers just be better at what they
Hmm.
do, that in turn then helps the brand. So we tend to be in like that kind of ecosystem of brands and
Totally.
buyers.
And I think this might have just clicked for me, and we might need to revisit it. But so, can a brand use sign up and start using you guys, and it's going to help them find like quality retailers, and then vice versa? Like a
Yeah.
retailer can sign up with you guys and find brands or products that are also doing really well.
Yep, it's exactly right. So the brands will sign up with us, for all the reasons we said, efficiency, streamlining,
Hmm.
all of that. But then they also now get to be in the community. We introduce the brands through webinars and marketing to all the buyers. So I think we have, I'm not sure, like 60,000 buyers, and those are green grass shops and pickleball stores and resorts and all of that. Well, now they come into the community. It's totally free for the buyers. The buyers pay nothing. Pro shops pay nothing. Gyms pay nothing to come on, but they can log on and be like, wow, we had this, I don't know, drink cup brand and they're not doing well. Is there another one? And just
Hmm.
makes their life so easier. So they end up covering their whole entire, pro shop or store with brands that are on RepSparks. Like now they go to one place, they can pay all their invoices in one place. It just makes it so much easier. But
Gosh,
it's
it
really
seems
that
like
connection point,
a massive help for both parties.
both parties. It's really nice. I mean, it's fun. You go to the trade shows to talk to the brands and you end up talking. I mean, I end up talking to retailers all the time where they're like, you just saved me 4 hours of my
Yeah.
day. Oh, and by the way, I work at a pro shop and now I get to do classes. I get to go play golf with people.
Hmm.
It's such a time savings on both directions.
Yeah. And like you said, a lot of people are there because the passion might not be like running what that store is, but they're there
Yeah,
because of the passion outside of that store, but within that space. And a lot of this stuff is probably things they either don't have a lot of experience doing or they just don't love doing it. And it's just tedious type of stuff.
it is. It is. I mean, they'd much rather be on the golf course, playing golf, teaching golf, even talking to members, being a
Hmm.
better
Just saving time. You have way
service
more
and not
time.
sitting
Yeah.
there like typing something into a screen. And so that's kind of where we started. Like, let's give everybody more time in their day back to do what they love.
Nice. With you mentioned data and I feel like AI, everybody's trying to figure out the best way to use AI and how it can benefit your company, your platform. And with all the data y'all have coming in, is there systems of AI y'all are using or like what are some of the AI, what's some AI you are using to help benefit really internally within your company, but also with your wholesalers, retailers, brands.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. There's so many places. There's so many places. It's kind of like, where do you even start? So we're starting with a lot of internal kind of AI Wikibot, like it's almost like a RepSpark ChatGPT, if you
Hmm.
will. And that's really helping our support team so they can answer questions a
Sure.
lot faster, a lot easier, with good data, good information. We are doing internal ones about our product, and then then we'll take that to kind of external facing once we can train that properly to actually be giving the right answers.
Sure.
And then we just have a lot within apps. So assisted shopping, hey, you bought this last time. This is something that's like
So
that this
true.
time. So there's a bunch of that we're implementing now. And then just the trends data. And I think next we'll be able to take that as for the retailers shopping the
Hmm.
site. So, what information can we give them to be smarter shoppers of these brands? So, this brand is trending, or here's what it is, or hey, in your area, did you know everybody's buying quarter zips and you don't have any? Just different things like that we can do.
Are y'all?
Exciting. It's super exciting. It's like
Yeah.
almost overwhelming though. You're like, there's so much we can do
Yeah.
and so
It
much
really
data.
is overwhelming. And if you, I mean, I don't go too deep into it, but there is a lot of things that it already helps me in my daily life and kind of chores within what I'm doing in the workspace that if you use it, you can, like y'all do, you can save a lot of time to
Yeah.
free up to do other things. Are y'all connected with online platforms, online stores at all? And like, are you able to provide any data or information around, like I mentioned you saying like, hey, this is trending. Like, do y'all have y'all partnered with like Google Ads, or that would that be something that would ever do?
We do partner with certain online stores though. I don't know how deep we've like done into any sort of data integration that
Hmm.
way. So I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's a whole different world in my
There's
mind.
so much. I mean, you can go out and scrape the data of like local surf shops and see what brands they're carrying and then feed that back to other ones and be like, did you know that yeah, I mean,
Yep.
it's crazy what you can do. I mean, in models, I think in the apparel industry and footwear industry, I mean, it's you can auto generate someone wearing that product and be like, I want a
Sure.
model that looks like she's at the beach. And
Yep.
it's gonna be real interesting to see what happens.
It is with y'all's growth and um like how do you manage your growth? Are you actively looking for new people now? Are they just finding you? And is it more you trying to find new verticals, new industries?
You mean as far as brands and
Yeah,
buyers?
brands, buyers, yeah, stores.
I mean, for the buyers, like I said, it's free. So we're just, come and join us.
Hmm.
Anybody who's kind of looking for brands in these sectors. So that's pretty easy. We have a way for them to just join the community, or brands invite them, to join their
Yeah,
shop as
sure.
well. Um, as far as finding new brands, I mean, in these verticals like golf, I would love to say that we really dominate. So now it's kind of like, oh, you're not on RepSpark. It's great because the retailers will be like, oh, you're not on RepSpark. Like, I don't know if we want to buy from you. So that one we got, and it's so fun. I love that industry. The golf industry is awesome. But we're kind of seeing the same in the other ones where it's
Hmm.
almost coming the other direction, where the retailers or the buyers are like, well, I don't know if I want to purchase from you unless you're on RepSpark because it
Hmm.
makes it so easy. But we have an active sales force. We go to
Nice.
trade shows,
Yeah.
we do inbound, we do SEO. I mean, all those traditional marketing
What are
ways.
some of the bigger challenges like y'all are facing right now?
Yes. So we have added so many new bodies, new people,
Hmm.
new team members. And just keeping the culture we had. I mean, we had such an awesome culture, and I just want to keep that. We're halfway remote. So we were fully remote. Our CRO is actually in North Carolina, in the Raleigh, Durham area, and he wants everybody in office. So our sales team, our BDR team, some of our marketing, our account management is mostly in office in North Carolina. And then everybody else is fully remote. So
Very cool.
um, it's just keeping that culture. And then also, as you grow, it's really interesting because when you only have 5 people, you can all get on a meeting and you're all on the same page all the time.
Mhm.
And then you have 10 people, and now 5 of those people probably weren't in that meeting, but they need to know the same information. And then
Sure.
you have 20, and then you have 30. And so it's just making sure that everybody knows, the ultimate goal. Everybody knows pulling in the same direction. Everyone knows what's important and why it's important. It's
Mhm.
a lot of the time it's the why. It's not what it is, but it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like I know what I'm doing, but like why and how it all kind of filters up to servicing our customers and servicing our brands and just growing, the ease of use in those verticals. So that's the biggest challenge, I would say.
As the founder and president and CEO, for you, what's most important around the culture aspect to keep within the company?
We are really big proponents of just getting things done, but on your own time.
Mhm.
So I would say well, I don't know if that's non-traditional now. 5 years ago, that would have been
Sure.
non-traditional, but really just having that work-life balance with but with the attitude of like, but you got to get your stuff done. Like
Definitely.
have your work-life balance, but we're here and we're all pulling together and people work really, really hard and then they have time to do cool things.
Yep.
So we're definitely not the laid back Surf California company where you're like, do whatever. But it's like, but if you want to go surf in the morning and you want to, work from 5 to 7 and then go surf for an hour and then come,
Yep.
it's really about, being out, being healthy, good balance.
Yeah,
But
totally.
working hard. I do want to
No,
say
without a doubt. I
working really
think,
hard. Yeah.
I mean, I think more, like you said, maybe it's not as, I think it's more common now than say,
Yeah.
5 years ago. But I mean, that's what I tell people. I'm like, if you need to find an hour to work out in your day, like you should be allowed to do that. And if the
Yeah.
company you're working for doesn't allow you to find like an hour to do something for yourself, then maybe you need to find a different company in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, or just be with your family. I mean, I have a lot of, dads and moms,
Mhm.
and, I think it's important for them to coach their kids,
Exactly.
T-ball team or, I don't know. My whole philosophy is if you tell someone they can't do it, they're either going to do it without telling you anyways. And then that sucks because then they're lying. Or number two, they're going to every Wednesday when they could have been coaching the T-ball team or assistant coaching or doing whatever,
Yep.
they're gonna be sitting there super annoyed that they're not
Yeah.
there with their son. So, let people do it and it's good people. I think it's funny. Like that type of culture just cultivates more people of that culture.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
And the happier they are, the more productive they're going to be. So
absolutely. I
that's,
know I am.
yeah,
I went through a
directly
time.
correlated.
Yeah. I mean, I went through a time, like I said, I have 3 kids. I didn't really understand that. I thought it was like, get up,
Mhm.
have your kids, work. I will feel like super guilty if I ever went and did something. And then I realized that that was not the best mindset for
Yeah.
anybody or anything. And, I put it on myself too. I was working for myself. So it wasn't like I even had a boss that said you had to be like that. But yeah. And then you're like, oh, I'm much more productive when
Yeah.
I'm happy. And people are productive at different times. I mean,
100%. Totally agreed.
I wake up at 5 in the morning and my brain is like on fire and I just need
Mhm.
to like just work, but catch me at like 3 in the afternoon. I'm like, I don't really know. And then there's some people that are the opposite,
Yeah.
they turn on at night.
And that's completely like individualized to
Yeah.
individuals. Like it is like genetic in a way. I've had a lot of health professionals on and they've talked about the productivity of individuals and it is really individualized to people.
Yeah.
So some people just aren't morning people. Some people are night
Absolutely.
people. Some
Yeah.
people need to rest during the middle of the day and that's honestly just who they are. So like, try to force people through that just honestly doesn't work for them. And like finding that balance for people and kind of allowing them to kind of navigate, they're going to be more productive overall. Being
Yeah.
able to have a little bit of freedom like that with with the summer and kind of what y'all have coming up. What are things y'all are excited about? Maybe some shows you're going to when you do go to shows. Like, how do y'all represent yourselves? Like, what do y'all have coming up?
Yeah, I mean, summer's so fun in this industry. So there's a ton of trade shows that come up. We send a couple people to each of them. The ICAST show is the big fishing show that we're going to. Super excited. We just partnered with them to kind of be their only B2B sponsor there or software sponsor. So excited for that one. I mean, that's just great people. We have some brands already in fishing. The PGA show, their big show is in Orlando in January, but their show kind of at the PGA in Frisco is this summer. So that one's always really fun. There's a fitness wellness show in Southern California here,
Very
Active
cool.
Collective. So it's a lot of shows, which is great. I mean, you talk to people that are your current customers, you get
Mhm.
that face to face, you talk to retailers, you also get to, to prospect new accounts and find out what they're struggling with. I mean, that's how we continue to grow the platform too.
Yeah.
Each of the industries have little unique needs.
With
So,
with you got an award or put on a council a couple years ago. It's the Forbes Business Council.
yep.
Was that talk to me through that? Like how were I think you had to go through like a pretty heavy like process or they had to, vet you pretty good to go on there. But talk to me about that. And I think it's pretty awesome and pretty rewarding for yourself.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, they definitely go through a vetting process. I think your company has to be at like a certain level.
Mhm.
They go through an interview process. They want to make sure when you're putting out content through them that whether it's so they have this thing called the expert panel. So
Mhm.
you can respond to the expert panel and put out content, and they just want to make sure that it's a valid person giving that sort of expert advice. But yeah, it was a really big honor, and it was exciting to be part of that. And our we've been part of the Inc. 500. We've made that
Mhm.
list twice. We're going for number 3 this year,
Yeah.
which is super cool. I mean, it's such a testament to the team
Mhm.
and just how awesome each department is as they work together.
When you reflect on where y'all started at in 2007, and I had this listed like now all the lists y'all are on and success y'all have had, as you reflect, almost on the last 16, 17 years of the company, did you think y'all would be here one day? And then how do you feel about reflecting on it? And the last question will be like, where do you see yourself going and the company going?
I did think we would be here one day. I thought we would actually be there faster.
Okay.
Um,
I like it.
yeah. So I think we had to like slow down to speed up. So I actually
Mhm.
thought we were going to be bigger, faster, which looking back, I'm really glad we weren't. Like we have grown so intentionally. We probably would have grown to like topple over. You know what I mean? So I
Sure.
think everything
Some
was
people
done.
grow too fast and fail. So,
Yeah. So I did think we were going to be further, but I'm extremely happy with where we are with the intentional growth that we've had. We haven't taken money from any institutional investors, which is pretty rare to have a
mhm,
profitable software company without that. So I'm extremely proud of the team and what we've been able to do. And um, I was listening to a podcast the other day and it was like, it's not yes or no, it's not yet. So, and I took that, I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, that's kind of been my life. Like, it's not yes, like win or fail, it's just not yet. Like, it's the
mhm.
time's not right yet. So no, I'm so excited with where we are and the people we have now to take us really successfully to the next level. I mean, we're running people's wholesale business. Like, it's a big deal, and we take it like a big deal. I mean, our
Mhm.
customers are a big deal, and if we fail or we do something wrong, it affects them.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm glad and we're ready for the growth that we've had over the last couple years. Where I see ourselves, I want to be like, we want to be helping these brands in every way that we can.
Mhm.
Whatever touches wholesale, we want to be able to help them. Whether it's digital catalogs. During COVID, we transitioned and we built this like virtual showroom and a virtual trade show to help. So just, payments, that's really like, let's help
Yeah.
you guys. And so, really being able to help grow the industry, grow education within the industries that we serve and just keep growing. It's fun. It's really fun.
All right, last question. In your free time, what do you do to kind of relax a little bit, take the edge off? What are your favorite things to do?
Well, I have 3 boys, so,
What are they getting into?
when I'm not working, I'm with them, a lot of the time. They are, one plays water polo, which is pretty much all encompassing. For him, one plays golf and basketball, And then my little one does like everything that he ever could. Little, I'm saying 11, not like 2. But he plays basketball and Friday Night Lights. And so it's just really playing with them and helping them. They're at really fun
I
age,
was about to
right?
say, those are fun ages,
Play
probably.
with them, 13 and 11. I do work out every day. I do hot yoga.
There you
I
go.
go to this place called Radiant Hot Yoga in Newport Beach. Darlene's amazing. And that's where like I feel like I've figured a lot out, you know, in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of it. And it's hot in there and it's
It
great.
is.
And it's good. You get into a really good flow and you just kind of start to think and then not think too.
Hot
So
yoga is, I think, is what I'm addicted to right now. It's a hot yoga studio, but they have like a workout class too. So I bounce back and forth between kind of like their workout class and their yoga classes. And my wife would tell me I need to take more breaks because it's just part of my routine. I'm in there almost every day, but I love
it's
it.
addicting,
It makes
right?
me feel good. So
It's totally addicting because once you get that sweat, it's like you go do something else and you're like, I don't know if this is really
yeah.
working.
I
So
love sweating that much and like
yeah,
doing it in a yoga class or a heated room. It just makes me feel better. And I walk out of there and, like you said, work through some things in your head and you're refreshed and you're ready to take on your day. And I absolutely love it. But Megan, it was great having you on. Thank you for joining me. It's kind of crazy how big y'all can get, I think.
yeah.
And you know, all the different companies and brands and retailers that y'all can work with. I mean, it's kind of incredible when you think about um, what y'all can do for them um, to make them more productive or more successful. So thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for sharing part of your story. And I can't wait to continue to watch y'all and see where y'all go.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so thankful to talk to you today. And now we have our hot yoga in common too.
That's right. Exactly right. On opposite sides of the country.
There we go.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thanks so much.
Perfect. We're done.